Hello, and welcome back to TKO Stigma, Episode 3. This is a very special episode. We're currently on day 15 of our tour across America to raise awareness. It's day 365 of consecutive training. We're making a positive impact all across the world. We're starting with America, but we're growing globally at the same time. And today we have a very special guest to talk openly about mental health, because that's the way we break down that stigma. Yep. And in case you don't know what stigma is, it's a negative or false view about mental health. And the way we can knock it out is an open conversation. And here to help us do that is Shaun Broughton. Thank you, Shaun, for being here.
Thanks for having me, man.
Shaun is a former Marine, and he is a current trainer at Urban Kempo in Clarendon, Virginia. I think I got that right. I got it right. Thank you so much for being here, Shaun.
It's a pleasure, man. Thanks for having me, for real. It's, like I said, it's just nice having like-minded people to talk about this with and to train with. So.
Thank you. Yeah.
It's great.
So I wanted to let the people know, maybe you could let the people know how it is that you got here. What's your background?
So I was in the military for a while. I was an intel analyst in the military for the Marine Corps, and I lived in Japan for the better portion of 4 years. Learned a little bit of the language, and I ended up getting hurt and coming out and not quite getting out on terms that I wanted to, but it led me back to teaching in a way and just training more consistently. Because while I was in, I trained, but it wasn't to the same level that I do now or that I did before. And so once I got out, which was about 2 years ago now, I hit up my buddy Mike, who is the owner of the school, and I was just like, "Hey, Mike, we've talked about it for years. It's time for me to come and teach. Will you still have me?" He's all like, "Come on." So that same week that I got out of the military, I found myself right back in here. Kids were trying to figure out, who's that funny guy with the funny hair? And, I was back to teaching full time, and, here I am.
Awesome. So it sounds like a cool journey that brought you here. And now that you're here and you're teaching, I wanted to ask you about the mental health aspect, because the main point of this show is to talk about that mental health that so many people are afraid to talk about. Mm-hmm. And in order for us to move forward, we got to be able to talk about it.
Of course, yeah.
So maybe you could tell us a little bit about how martial arts training has helped you with your personal mental health.
Sure. Geez, where do I start?
Anywhere you'd like.
So, to be honest, I'd have to go back to when I was I'd say 12. And I didn't have any friends. And I didn't have, the closest relationship with my family or people around me. I was kind of like that loner that sat in the back of the room, didn't want to talk to anybody. I'd get straight A's in school, but what does that mean if you don't have a social life, right? And so, I really dove in to the dojo. Because thankfully for me, I had some instructors that kind of took me under their wing, and they kind of guided a lot of that sadness and that kind of depressive feeling and that rage that I had about that in a more constructive way. And so, I was about, I'd say 13 when I started taking it serious, and I realized how big of an impact it was having on just my day-to-day. 1 week I would try my best not to train at all because I'm like, it's not that important. But that same week, I would notice you don't feel too good.
Yeah. You definitely felt that outside of the class, outside of the training as well, right?
Instantly. And I never really thought anything of it. I'm all like, I'm dedicating too much of my time to this stuff. But I want to go. I want to go do what normal kids would do. I want to go, go to the football game or go do this, go do that. Not realizing how big of an impact just being in the dojo was having on my state of mind.
Yeah.
It really did. So fast forward a little bit, I'm 20 and I'm dating a girl, and I'm going through college and whatnot, and I find myself in a slump. I don't know another way to put it. Just kind of in a slump. And, I asked a girl to marry me. And, I'm thinking that how can I get her to want to be with me for life, as marriage implies, if I can't even figure out why I'm feeling down all the time? You know? But little did I realize that was, during that slump, the longest period that I had ever gone without training. I made it one whole year without training at all. And I really couldn't wrap my head around it. She started to notice the change in me, and I honestly think that's what led us to breaking up later down the line, is because I was depressed and I didn't even realize it.
Right. You can't offer that happiness to somebody else if you're not first happy with yourself.
And so time went on, and I just kind of found myself going through a lot of the same kind of day-to-day things, which consisted of waking up, going to school, and then coming back and falling asleep. I didn't do my homework, which in turn made mom and dad really mad at me because they're paying for school because dad was military too. So I'm using his GI Bill up and burning it. It was bad. And then, thankfully for me, I had a friend of mine that used to live up the street from me that I didn't know did martial arts. And he invited me to this tricking convention, Epic, one year. And I'd never really flipped too much before. I knew guys that did, but I've always been focused on the practical. And he was just like, hey, it's an all-night thing. I'll pay for you to get in, but you need to get out. So why don't you come with me? And I was really resistant to it at first. I was like, nah, I'm straight, man. I don't want to impose, like, it's $20 for me. $20 is a big deal, those days. But it's like, I was making my own money or anything. I didn't want to ask anybody. But he's like, no, it's $20. I'm working. That's a big deal. Let me do this for you as your friend. Ultimately, I said yes. And that's what got me back into martial arts. And literally, 5 minutes into the session, I was like, yo, I feel alive. I feel normal.
Yeah.
Awesome. And so I'm trying to keep going, and I'm relearning everything. The muscle memory is starting to come back, and I feel better and better by the minute, then by the hour. Then next thing you know, that few hours turned into it's sunrise. Literally, I'm training from it was 8 p.m. at night until about 7 a.m. in the morning, just constantly. And they're telling me, Shaun, yo, chill. You're going to be dead tomorrow. It's already tomorrow. What do you mean?
But you're working something out.
Yeah.
That they can't see necessarily. Mm-hmm. But you are working something out.
Oh my goodness, man. I was working through it. And it did wonders for me that same day. And so I get home, and I'm just like, what can I do to replicate that? Is there anything I can do? And so I immediately find anybody that can listen to me. And I'm like, hey, we used to train together before. What are you doing these days? Where do you train at? How do you train? Can I train with you? Yeah. And that led me, and I call them my brothers, but they're my closest friends, Joe and Gary. We were neighbors in high school. And that led us to training together in Gary's backyard, which is kind of funny. But it ultimately led Gary to teaching his daughter and his sister martial arts. Awesome. And fighting through his depression. And it led Joe to doing jiu-jitsu because he got tired of getting his butt kicked in stand-up. Joe, if you're listening.
That's awesome that you got to see kind of firsthand and secondhand that ripple effect of benefits that has come to everybody involved in the martial art. So you were training in Joe's backyard, and that became a regular place for you?
It was a very, very regular thing. At this point, I had already enlisted, and I was just like, okay, well, I don't have that much time, relatively speaking, but until I ship out the basic, we're just going to be committed. We're just going to be doing this, and like, I'm not the oldest of the group, Joe is, but they would always kind of tell me, well, you're in charge, you're the martial arts head. So I'm like, all right, well, and that led me to teaching even more seriously than I ever thought was possible. Because I didn't, like I said, I didn't know how much it was benefiting me to help others.
Yeah.
I just didn't, and I didn't realize how much of an impact it was having on, the way I think and the way I feel until that random night at Epic. So, fast forward a little bit forward, a little bit more, and I go to basic, and I know I always said if I wanted to join the military, I'd be a Marine because I thought I fit in the most. But then I realized pretty quickly, especially within the community of the MOS field that I was in, I was still that like oddball. And so, granted, I didn't stop training this time, but I kind of fell back into another slump for the first, I'd say, 2 years of my enlistment.
Because you weren't where you really belonged.
Yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. We all have to find kind of our own avenue and what works for us. We're all on our own individual journey.
Very
and
much so.
If something's not clicking, it might just not click for you. You might have to explore other options. So being in that, kind of getting back into a bit of a slump, you said for about 2 years.
Yeah.
Did you pull yourself back out of it? How did that, what did it lead to? What was next?
So what that led to was me exploring what they call Marine Corps martial arts, and thinking that a new Marine could learn Marine Corps martial arts, because I'm like, well, it's fairly basic compared to what I've learned, but it's something. And I figured if I could do that, then it would probably put me in touch with some of the like-minded people. But in the beginning, for me, I don't know if it was like leadership that didn't, kind of guide me the right way or put me in touch with the right people, or if it's just me, when I signed up. I don't know what it was, but it did right away. It wasn't until after my initial training for like combat training and my A school and all that, I got shipped out to Japan, which that freaked me out. It's the furthest I've been from home, whether I was on good terms with my parents or not, or good terms with my family or not. I was freaking out about that. And when I get to Japan, I very quickly realized, even without the people, I loved it.
Yeah?
I loved it.
What did you love about it?
Beautiful place. Beaches everywhere, very calm and tranquil, just easier way of living, right?
Okay.
As compared to a lot of things that you see stateside. And I met some of the most incredible people. I met one of my closest friends, Mika and Kana. They kind of helped guide me through a lot of the random nuances of being an American and kind of learning the local language and whatnot, and what foods that you'll actually like and what you want to avoid.
Nice. So you found guides.
Yeah, essentially, I found guides, and that led me to getting back into martial arts. Funny enough.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I was just going to ask: were you still training at this point?
Yeah, I got back into it because Mika found a random clip of me at a tournament.
Okay.
From when I was like in high school or something like that. I don't really remember. But she found the clip and she was like, "Hey, Shaun, is this you? You look like a baby." I was like, "I do, don't I?" That was kind of fun. And that led me to meet two other friends who are now some of my closest friends that, they started picking my brain more about martial arts. And again, just like with Epic, I found myself, "Oh yeah, I can show you this." And I showed him, and instantly, like first 5 minutes, I'm like, I feel very good.
And at that point, you're training them.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah.
So here's one of the cool things about martial arts training is that it benefits you whether you're the one training for yourself and even when you're training someone else. There's still a mental health benefit for yourself in helping others. And I think that's an important thing to take note of because there's not too many things like that out there where it's such a mutually beneficial relationship between both trainer and student. You both kind of grow together. You're supporting each other's growth. right? And not only that, but I'm sure after you trained them a bit, they were probably holding pads for you, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Funny enough, they really were. Izzy, he's a barber now, and he got some of my shirts and stuff like that. And he was just like, we were talking, what was that, last week, I think? And he's just like, I miss the days of just going to the gym and you would have your old ratty pads and you're just like, I don't care what you do, just hit it.
Yeah.
And we'd be in there and I'd just be holding pads until the pads were destroyed. We'd go through like a set of pads every couple of weeks because we would literally, from the time we got off from work, it'd be me, Izzy, and Nava just in the gym training. And then along came Jeremiah, who was very much like me at the time too. And next thing you know, I had that circle, that group.
Yeah.
And now all of a sudden I'm feeling like I belong.
Yeah.
So, when I got injured, it was tough for me because I tore my ACL and my MCL, and they said I did something weird to my meniscus too.
Oh.
And it was on this random exercise. And that was the most scared I was for life as I do it ever.
Yeah.
Because they told me, hands down, because of the damage that I did, I wouldn't be able to go back to training.
Ah.
They were like, there's just no way. Like, you're not gonna be able to. And so I started spiraling really quick. I started getting in trouble with my command. I remember I threw a table at a guy once because he said something and I didn't even realize I did it. It was just pure, just fit of rage, just stop talking to me.
Yeah.
And I was so apologetic about it after the fact because I was like, I don't know what came over me.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. And like all this while I'm on crutches.
Yeah.
And it took a conversation that I had with Mike, the owner, my mom, and Izzy, just random, all on the same day. And they were all like, have you tried? I tried what? Have you tried to train? Huh. Well, Doc said I couldn't do it, so I haven't done it. But have you tried?
Yeah.
No. Why would I try? I can barely walk. That doesn't mean you won't be walking later.
Yeah.
Just get up and do it. So I did. And over time, I got back into it. I got my surgery. I got better. And here we are again, back at a high point.
Awesome.
And I get out the military, and I tell Mike, I'm all like, hey, yo, I know we've been talking about this for a while. I know I've been absent, but I want to get back to doing this. I don't care what I got to do. Tell me how we can work together to keep this train moving forward because I need to teach.
Yeah.
Like, it's not a want.
Yeah, it's for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I need to teach.
Yeah.
I have to.
And you touched on a lot of different points there, and I just want to bullet point them real quick.
Yeah.
One of them was you attracted these people into your life when you stopped trying to pursue a set path that maybe we have ideals growing up on the path that's going to take us where we want to go. When you stop pursuing that path, you went to a new location and you attracted in that social support for yourself through that martial arts training.
Yeah. Yeah.
You noticed an improvement in your mental health, right? And then when the training stopped because of an injury, you noticed a decline in the mental health, right?
Yep.
And then someone came along and put you in another box. They put you on another path. They told you you can't train. And we have people all the time in all different aspects of life putting us in categories and trying to tell us where our limits are based on their perception of what we're capable of.
Yeah.
But nobody knows what you're capable of except for you.
Mm-hmm.
So it didn't cross your mind at the time to train because the doctor said you can't train.
Yeah.
But that wasn't the truth, right?
Right.
You could actually train.
Right.
There are people, just as a side note, there are a couple people we are associated with at Sackcliffe Official who do adaptive boxing classes for people who are disabled in wheelchairs. They're disabled from the waist down, but they are continuing to fight for themselves and finding out every day what they are capable of. And through martial arts, they're able to help improve their mental health, even if they're restricted to a chair. Just yesterday, I got caught in this crazy storm that was blowing through.
Oh, yeah.
And I got to do my live show at 6 o'clock no matter what. That was my dedication. So I had to hold an umbrella over my camera setup while I trained the class with one hand.
Yep.
Now, I didn't know if I would be capable of it, but I didn't let that stop me. I didn't let the idea come into my head that I can't do this, because that's like a dangerous word. I find that with human spirit, with passion and dedication, we can do pretty much anything.
Yep.
So the class went on, the training happened, it continued. We got through it, we fought through it together, we still made progress, even though I was restricted to just one arm. So the moral of that whole thing is just, don't let anyone put you in a box. Don't let anybody tell you what you can't do. Find out for yourself. Find out, because there is so much more that we're capable of than most of us give ourselves credit for. So, yeah, I think that was I just wanted to summarize on those bullet points.
You hit it right on the head, man. Like, and given the type of personality I can be, I'm not going to say I'm consistently that person, but the personality that I tend to be is that as soon as they told me I couldn't do it, and my mom knows. That's mamas know.
Yeah.
That's why she kind of, I think, looking back, I think that's why she put the bug in my head. Because the minute you tell me I can't do something, I'm the type that'll turn around and be like, watch me.
Yeah.
Even if I'm at my lowest point, I'm going to find a way to claw back up to whatever you said I couldn't do, because I'm not going to let you tell me I couldn't do it. And that, I think, I learned over the process, I guess you could call it a process.
Going through that experience.
Going through that roller coaster ride of like that 8-year period where I'm just like not knowing that I'm depressed.
Yeah.
And it's something. Like I kind of just realized that's talking to you just now.
Dude, I learn something every day. I'm learning from you. Hopefully you're learning from me. We're all learning from each other. And one of the points of our show always is growth mindset, progress, learn constantly. There's no limit to how much better we can make our lives if we continue to learn and grow every day, even about ourselves. So that's really cool. Awesome story. When you got back into training, after you had been told you can't, what happened then?
So then it was more for me to, it was time for me to take the time to figure out what I could do.
Yeah.
And so I had a lot of, I guess, doubt in what I could do and my capabilities, because I gained weight that I'm still trying to lose. My range of mobility was different. I'm not going to say shot, but different. And I'm still working through stuff with that. And it's just been weird. But ultimately, it kind of took me on this adventure, as I like to tell people, where I would do one of my old forms, or a kata, or something with one of the swords, or my spear. My body would be like, okay, we remember this.
You got that muscle memory.
And I would start to work it, but then my knee would be like, no.
Yeah.
And then I'd be like, all right, you're going to listen to that. And it was literally just a mind over matter thing. And funny enough, talking with the doctors from the VA and everything, they, contrary to what the doctor that did my surgery told me, they told me, hey, well, if this is something you want to keep doing, then you're going to have to retrain your body on how to do it. So go push yourself. Don't be stupid about it, but go push yourself.
Yeah, respect your limits, right?
Exactly. Respect your limits. Listen to your body when it talks to you.
Yeah.
But go figure out what you can and can't do.
Absolutely.
And
That's
so
good advice.
I did just that. I came in here one morning, and I looked at the black belts in the class, and I'm like, y'all in trouble today.
Yeah.
I just got the green light to do everything.
Yeah.
And if I can't do it, and if I can, it doesn't matter, because you guys are trying it with me, with a big old smile, ear to ear. I was just like, y'all here too. And, I started finding that community again, because even though, physical distance separated me from Izzy and from Nava, and in a way, even though they're an hour away, separates me from Joe and Gary, having the community here, which is part of why I love being an instructor at this dojo so much. The community is such that we help build each other up so much, to include the instructors and the kids and the parents. Even the parents are learning martial arts and a lot about the same stuff that we talk about just by being in the audience. Yeah. And so seeing that and watching it develop has just put me on this like cloud of just a good place consistently. And I I don't even know, like, a lot of my students, like, namely this morning, a lot of my students would be like, rain or shine, COVID and all, you're at the park and you're teaching in the rain. Why do you do it? I'm like, I don't know what else to do.
Well,
this is what makes me who I am. This is what makes me good. Like,
there you go. Yeah.
And
that's it. That's you.
Exactly. And they're just like, well, thank you. No, thank you, because without you, I couldn't necessarily do this. Like, you put in your time with me, and I put in my time with you. We're helping each other, ultimately.
Yeah, that's the thing. Part of the community that you build, we actually, like, from the beginning for me, I got down to a place where I had lost a tremendous amount of my social support system.
Mm-hmm.
I practically had. I had a couple people, and thank you for being there, but I had virtually 99% of what I had before was gone. And I had to find a way to depend on myself to start growing.
Yeah.
And then once I took those steps to start growing for myself, I started attracting in social support.
Mm-hmm.
And that social support just amplified me up to the next level. So I always kind of tell people that we try to depend on ourselves, but recognize the value in supporting others.
Yeah.
Because by supporting them, they in turn wind up supporting you, and you fuel each other's progress, you fuel each other's passion, and then everybody wins. It's like the most awesome part about life is the fact that there's this little known secret. Life can be totally mutually beneficial. Like, I don't know why it's such a deep, dark secret, but it can be totally mutually beneficial. We just got to get outside of those boxes that we've been put in and find a way.
There is no box.
There is no box. There is no box. You found your way back to where you are now, and life is a journey. You will continue to make progress. You'll continue to grow. We're always going to be on this up and down roller coaster. But having that, building that social support circle and continuing on with perseverance and pursuing your passion as you find it in life, I'm confident that you're going to watch yourself grow to new heights. The same way that I'm watching myself grow and watching my students grow out there every single day that they show up for themselves, watching them make progress has been
doing it.
It's been an inspiration to me. It fuels my passion and it helps amplify my growth. And I'm sure as a trainer, you can relate.
Definitely. I cried literal tears of joy my first year of teaching here again when I had a kid, literally, she got sick and she couldn't train for a while. Very much like me with my knee. There was a point where I literally could not because, knee immobilized and all that stuff. But the minute I was, I tried it. Thanks, Mom. But she got sick and she couldn't. And she cried. Like, literally, Mom had to pull her out and tell her, hey, you gotta sit down. You're going to make yourself even more sick if you want.
Yeah.
And the day she came back, she ran up to me, gave me this giant hug. Sensei Shaun, I'm so glad you're still here. Can we do some karate now? I want to break boards. Literally, I can say that is the only time, and I know there will probably be more, but that is the only time tears of joy just fully fell down my face, and I had no shame about it. I'm like, yeah, sweetie, come on, let's do this, because that was one of the best days I've had ever. Just seeing her joy about it, and knowing that I'm fueling her just as much as she's fueling me.
Yeah.
which is in turn making the parents happy, and then the parents are going back,
Yeah.
and it's giving me more people to train with. I'm just like, this is all I can ask for.
That's fulfillment, man.
This is all I can ask for.
Yeah, I know the feeling, dude. I know it, and it's a good one. It's worth pursuing. I think that's probably a good end point for our discussion. Unless there's anything you'd like to tell the audience before we sign off for this segment.
Yeah, I got one thing, and one thing only. I'll try to make it quick.
Go ahead.
But I like to talk sometimes. Find that thing that helps you. You know what I mean? Martial arts helped me, and I think it can help you. But if you do nothing else with today, make one step to try to find that thing that helps you and gives you that same fulfillment. I never in my wildest dreams would have thought that martial arts was going to be it. I knew I always loved it, but I never knew. And now that I know, anybody that's talked to me for more than 10 minutes can tell you that there is nothing else I would do with my life than train. And if you'd like to train, Zach Man, I'm here. Find an instructor. I guarantee you, there are more of us out there. Find that circle and stick to it. Please, please, please do it. That's all I can say.
Dude, those are great words. Words to live by out here. Thank you so much again. If people want to reach you, we're going to put some links in the description. You can find the social media accounts. Contact Shaun if you want to train. What type of martial arts do you train here?
We do Kempo. We do what's called, some people call it Shaun Kempo, some people call it Kempo karate. I'm going to just put it to you like this. I'm going to teach you some martial arts. We're going to have some fun. We're going to hit some bags. And we're going to grow together.
Grow together. That's what it's about. That's what it's about, man. Thank you so much. I would shake if it wasn't COVID season.
Yeah, you know.
And that's going to be the end of our show.
All right.
Signing out.